Devil Summoner Raidou Kuzunoa vs. the Soulless Army, or better known by its remastered title, Mystery of the Soulless Army. Now, personally speaking, I've never really played a Devil Summoner game. I played a tiny bit of the original SMT Devil Summoner for the Saturn, but I didn't stick with that for very long because I cannot read kanji. So this was my first true Devil Summoner experience, and after hearing about how cool Raidou Kuzunoha is and how he reached meme status from his appearance in Nocturne Maniac's Chronicle, and for me, when I got to use him in the Demon Expansion mod, I was kinda hyped for this game, especially after seeing how the game looks really good compared to Nocturne Remastered, as if they straight up had to make new assets instead of just porting a PlayStation 2 game. And I will say this, the game is definitely intriguing. It's actually really fun. For one, I do like the nice saturated art style, like the colors really do pop out without being too overly done. I've heard that apparently there was a sepia filter to make the game feel more like an old-timey movie, but honestly I don't mind that removal. I've also heard from my chat that there was a change to the boss fight at the end of the very first area, the tutorial essentially, which I thought was pretty cool. The game just straight up throws more stuff at you to show how the game works and to see if you're prepared for it or not. I also really like the textures in this game, specifically the demon models. A lot of these demon models do look better than they do in SMT5, which is insane since that game currently has the best graphics of any Megaten game. But this one, the models seem to be improved, like how you can see the scales on the zooming. I really like that. The only thing I don't like is that they censored the strongest demon in history, Preta. But I digress. And as for the new demons that you get with the DLC, such as Hayataro, Idun, and Artemis, I haven't gotten that far. You can only unlock them once you reach episode 3, and I've only fully completed episode 1. But I did actually encounter a demon that wasn't originally in the game, Mermaid. So for those thinking you buy the DLC to get the lore-breaking demons, no, you can get the lore-breaking demons as early as level 10. I also got my hands on the grinding DLC, and it's pretty fun. It feels like a combination of Shin Megami Tensei 4 and 5's Matama DLC, in that the Matamas are pretty easy to kill if you know what you're doing at SMT5 and you have the tools available, but in this case you don't have tools, you can just melee them to death. Some of them won't even attack, they'll be too busy running away from you. But similar to Shin Megami Tensei 4, they will have attacks, and if you slack off too much, you can get destroyed by the Matamas, which is probably the most embarrassing thing ever. And they have these new type of Matamas, which are just like double the size of the originals, and they have more health, and they hit extremely hard, so either play on the easiest difficulty, or just get good and defeat them with actual skill. Speaking of difficulties, yeah, this game follows Nocturne's difficulty in that you can just change it whenever you want, which I really do appreciate that. Set it to the very lowest difficulty for grinding, set it to whatever difficulty you're actually playing on for the actual challenge. I'm playing on normal for the record. I don't play new Megaten games on hard, simply because I want to at least understand what I'm playing before I accept the torment. And I really do like how you could just pick the difficulties. I don't like how in Shin Megami Tensei 5 they lock you out of hard mode if you dip it down to anything, even for a second, which makes grinding tedious, even with Matama Dance. And I don't like how in Metaphor you're locked into the easiest difficulty if you select it. That's stupid. What if you just wanted to do some grinding? Well, now you're stuck fighting an unlosable battle, essentially. That's also how Raidou's safety difficulty works. If your HP hits 0, you'll just get back up, full health and everything, which I like. It does allow people to go through the story without experiencing the challenge. That's one thing I'll give Metaphor credit for with its easy mode, but the fact that you don't have to be locked in it is a definite boon. And speaking of which, I really do like the characters in this story. Like, they haven't been fleshed out too much because it's only episode 1, but I like how from the very start, Raidou is essentially an ore farmer, or aura synthesizer, as one of my chat members said. He just goes in with all the style in the universe. It gets things done. It's really cool, and you really do feel like this super strong guy who's carrying the title of Raidou Kuzunoha, something so prestigious in this timeline of Japan, which for those of you who are unaware, this takes place in the Taisho era, similar to the Sakura Wars franchise. Sadly, we don't have a collab of those two games. That sounds so cool. Anyway, outside of that, combat is actually really fun to engage with. I've made it no secret that I really do like Princess Crown's combat, despite the fact that that game is fairly clunky compared to fighters of its time. But I do like this action-based combat. People have told me that it's come from Raidou versus King of Baton, just probably improved, which absolutely stellar. Absolutely love this combat system. Like, press turn was getting really old, and one more was getting really old, so this is a really nice change of pace for anyone who's thinking about possibly picking up this game. It is skill intensive, like there is no agility stat, either you dodge or you get hit, that's how the game works. And a lot of the skills in Demons got reworked, as most things do whenever Megaten changes the formula up a bit, so just be prepared to deal with Demons knowing skills they shouldn't and having weaknesses they shouldn't. Which also, just as a little side note, the game has two weaknesses for anyone who's concerned. Weaknesses, which increase how much damage you take, normal Megaten stuff, and then frailties, which is a weakness, but you get stunned and cannot move. Oh, and you take double damage from all of, not double damage, I'm sorry, 50% extra damage because you'll always land crits. And yeah, this combat system can range from mash the button to win, to you need to learn the enemy's attack pattern so you don't get eviscerated. Now, granted, I didn't actually die at all until the very first boss, which is a noticeable difficulty spike on normal, but even though I'd grinded to level 14 by the Matoma DLC just by playing it, I was still capable of taking it out. So, yeah, and then it leaves off on a cliffhanger and is episodic, similar to anyone who's familiar with Sakura Wars. But all in all, I think this is a really fun game and a nice change of pace. People speculate that Raidou's not going to do as well as, say, Persona 4R or SMT5, but I hope it really does, because if this game got remade, which, oh right, I didn't even go to the technical aspect of it. This game runs at a nice, crisp, no stuttering 60 frames per second. Unlike Nocturne, which was locked at 30 for some ungodly reason, as if it was a PS2 game or something. That's really good. So the combat system is way more fluid than it has any reasonable right to be, and that is 107% acceptable. Something I also neglected to mention was that the music in this game was not remixed. It's the same music from the PlayStation 2 game, but unlike Nocturne Remastered, the music was actually uncompressed. So I've heard people have issues with Persona 3R's music being bad remixes, and I've heard a lot of people having issues with Nocturne Remaster's music being the compressed music files from the PS2. Well, this game bridges the gap by just simply uncompressing the music files. The same epic Shoji Meguro score, but with no modern frills attached. There is one new song that I've heard. It's an 8-bit song from Persona 5 Royal that is used only in the Matoma grinding DLC. I have not heard any new music from this game, and from what my chat says, the music outside of the grinding DLC is one-to-one just uncompressed. I really do like the music in this game. It really does feel like the Shoji Meguro soundtrack from the 2000s. Stellar stuff. So as I was trying to say, if you want to give this game a shot, I recommend it. It's only $50. If you want to get all the DLC, it'll be bumped up to $65, which is less than pretty much everything else that comes out brand new these days. I'd say give it a go. Get through the tutorial. If the tutorial, which does teach you everything, it doesn't repeat any of that stuff. If the tutorial gives you too much trouble, try lowering the difficulty. If it still gives you too much trouble, or you're just not feeling the gameplay, then yeah, just get rid of it, and if you're on Steam, refund it. That'll be well within the 2-hour limit. I think it took me 30 minutes to an hour to get through the tutorial, and that was simply because I was engaging with chat. Anyway, that's my thoughts on this game. I really do like it, and I will be streaming this pretty much every chance I get to stream. And I hope I've convinced somebody to give this game a try, because it really is fun, and we need some more spotlight on the Megaten sub-series from the PS2. Thank you for watching until the end. Hopefully I've earned your subscription, and you can check out whatever YouTube recommends at the bottom right corner of this video. That's it for me. Have a good day, have a good night. The Visor